Okay, so the best watch in the world. Obviously, that's sort of a joke title. There's no such thing as the best watch in the world. These things are a matter of personal taste. But I wanted to talk about why I like this watch so much. And honestly, um, my argument for why it's the best watch in the world is basically that it's difficult to find a watch, at least for me, that gives so much enjoyment for so little money. So this watch generally sells for $200 to $300 maybe, and for that amount of money, it's I have not been able to find a watch that gives so much back to the owner. Um, so let's talk a little bit about what sort of watch this is. It's sold as a diving watch. I wouldn't actually consider it a diving watch. I think anything that doesn't go at least to 1,000 meters these days is not a serious diving watch. I know there's some few exceptions to that. I think Seiko has a really nice diver that goes to 600, or something. Omega does too. Those I would consider serious divers, but anything less than that is, I think it can go. It could be pressed into service. I just wouldn't do it. If you're a serious diver, get a real watch. Get a serious diving watch, and something that goes at least to 1,000 meters. So I would consider this more of a sport watch. You can go swimming with it, no problem. But I wouldn't trust your life with it. So let me talk a little bit about the pros and cons quickly. The cons are that it doesn't. It's not the most perfect timekeeper. It's just not, and you sort of have to get used to that. It's an automatic watch, as it says up here. That means that it runs on a little motor that has a weight, goes around in one direction, and it winds just by the movement of your everyday movement. Since it's a mechanical machine, it's not an electric battery operated thing. It's not going to be perfect. I know they have some mechanical movements are quite accurate these days, but those are much more expensive. So for a $200 to $300 mechanical movement, you're not going to get perfection. You just need to sort of get over the whole perfection thing. If you can get by the perfection, the perfectionism, this is a great watch, because there are some issues, and I'm sort of a perfectionist. If you look at my other videos, I'm always nitpicking about this thing and that thing, and so it's sort of surprising that I like this watch, with all its imperfections, but I really do. Another imperfection for me, anyways, is that it sort of rises up here. There's a little rise up here, which I don't like. Some people might say, well, that's there to protect the glass. I don't buy that argument. For me, I'm always worried about things catching here, but so I wish it was sort of flat, but I'm not sure if that's arguably that's a feature, not a bug. I'm not really sure. Also, the markers sometimes don't line up exactly with the chapter ring. I don't know if you can see that. It's sometimes I even think my mind's fooling myself. Maybe I'm just fooling myself that it doesn't line up, but no, I think it actually is off a little bit, but you wouldn't have noticed that unless I pointed that out. And you have to be, a real perfectionist freak to be worried about that. Again, this just goes to the fact that you just have to remember this was $200 to $300, and you're not going to get perfection at that price. You're just not. So get over it. Let's see. Okay, so let's talk about the pros. Why I like it so much. I love the 4 o'clock crown. Any sport watch that doesn't have a 4 o'clock crown, I'm just not interested in it. I don't like the 3 o'clock digging into the back of my wrist all the time. That drives me nuts. 4 o'clock crown is a huge plus. I love the seconds hand. For me, it's the best seconds hand in the world. It's just a simple white line here, and then on the back they have what they call, I guess, the lollipop here. It's balanced. It's aesthetically balanced. it's all functional. You know, so many other seconds hand, just they chop it off in the back here, and then you have this, it's unbalanced, and there's this useless little bit back here that just serves no purpose. It's just bad. It's the whole thing is functional. The whole thing is balanced. It's just so neat. You know, and at night you see this little, you know, this little ball going around. It's really cool. So I love the seconds hand. I love the colors of the watch, frankly. You know, this is the Pepsi Dive, what they call the Pepsi Diver, because it's red, white, and blue. You can also get the black and white version, the 007 version, the SKX007. So the inside background is actually a very dark blue. I don't know if you can see that here. It probably looks black, I guess. But it's actually a very dark blue. This is a lighter blue. You got red here. You've got Divers 200 in sort of orange there. All of that's great, you know, and it's not, there's not too much text here. I don't like it when there's too much text and it's like you're reading a book on a watch, you know. Even this, you know, I'd prefer less text, but this is pretty minimal as watches go these days. Also, the date, that used to bother me. I used to be like, well, why does a diving watch have a date and a date? You know, like, are you really down underwater for, you know, weeks? I don't know, maybe some people are, but it just always bothered me that there's actually a date function on a dive watch. I'd like a dive watch not to have a date. But I've grown to actually like it. I think it's okay, and it's pretty cool now. Another thing is that the days of the week actually change color on the weekend. On the weekend, the day turns bluish green, and on Sunday, it turns red. So I think that's really cool. I mean, you know, most watches, you buy them and they're the exact same thing for eternity. This actually changes a little bit, you know. Not only that, but well, like all divers, it's, you know, it's got this bezel that moves around. Oh, I can't move it now because my hands are sweaty, but so at the beginning, I used to, you know, be a total freak and always have to have this exactly at 12 o'clock, and it had to be like this all the time. After you use it a little bit, you suddenly realize, hey, you know, it sort of looks cool, and when it's in a different position, you know, it looks like you've actually been using it, and you haven't been a, you know, freak about moving it back to the 12, you know, o'clock point, and it actually, it strikes your eye differently all of a sudden, and you're just like, hey, it's, you know, it's not like getting a new watch or anything like that, but it's not what it was. It's not exactly the way it was. It looks different now, and I really like that. So it sort of, it can change a little bit as a watch. It's colorful. It's got an amazing seconds hand. The markers are very clear. All that 4 o'clock crown. It hits so many buttons. It's just very, very few watches have all these things, get all these things right. It's just amazing. Yeah, so I think that's all I wanted to say. I also like it more when it's on a rubber strap or on a NATO strap. I think that's more sporty. But the metal's fine too. There are lots of metal straps, metal bracelets, which are, it's all a matter of personal choice. For me, I like, as I said, this is such a sporty watch. I like to have it on a, you know, more sporty bracelet, but again, that's totally personal choice. So for all these reasons, I think it is very difficult to find a watch that ticks so many boxes for so little money. I mean, you know, I've been looking around a lot, and I haven't been able to find something that's comparable until you get into the thousands. You know, once you get up into the thousands, yeah, there are some good competitors, like the Sinn watches, SINN. I think those are, you get a ton of value for money for those watches. They're not like crazy priced like Rolexes and those sorts of watches. But you still get a lot of value. But again, those are in the $1,000+ range. Under $1,000, I just don't think you can find a sport watch which is so much value for money. Maybe you can, you know. Again, it's so much of this is personal taste. But I think that's why this is such a classic watch. You know, I mean, this watch, I don't know when it came out, like in the 80s or something like that, and people have just loved it for so many years. And I think it's because of some or all of these reasons. Whoever, I don't know who the designer of this watch was, or maybe it was a team of designers, but they should get like they should get an award for getting so many things right. You know, I go to watch stores and I look at watches online, and you just see like so many things that they don't get right. You know, it's just like, oh, you know, why didn't they do this, or why didn't they do that? You know, for me anyways, they got it all right here, you know. I mean, you know, yeah, the fit and finish and the accuracy are not the best, but in terms of design, I can't think of very much that they could have done better here on a dive watch, you know. And it's got a nice mixture of sort of like, yeah, you know, hard geometrical lines and sort of, you know, softed round lines here. You know, that's unexpected. You know, it's just, it's really, you know, there's so much like organic sort of roundness here, and then you have like the hard geometric shapes up here. It's just amazing. I could go on and on and on, but YouTube won't let me. They're gonna cut me off in a matter of time, so I gotta cut this here. Anyways, yeah, whoever designed this, they did an amazing job. I wish I could find out. I looked a little bit online, see if I could find out information. I couldn't find any information. If you guys know who designed this or what team designed this, I'd love to find out more about it. Anyways, hope you liked the video. That's it.